just start. That's the first step. No matter where you are at in life, is just start. So if you are looking to be a podcaster, or you're a creative, a photographer, whatever whatever creative outlet you want to do, is just start.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Black Experience. Welcome back to this special project that I'm working on, to episode 2 of the Amplifying Black Creatives in Pioneer Square. Today, y'all, I have a very special guest with me in the second episode. Today, I have with me someone who is a proud South African. She is a Colors member here at Color Studio, and she is the host and CEO of the Live to Thrive podcast, a podcast that brings people of color who are change makers, innovators, and entrepreneurs, and have them share their journey and how they got and overcame life's ups and downs. Without further ado, y'all, let's put our hands together and let's bring up Liz Hudson. How you going?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
It's so weird being on the other side of the table,
right?
Getting interviewed instead of me interviewing. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
And, it was a quick turnaround too.
I know.
It was. We've known of each other,
Yeah.
and it was about time before we did some kind of collab.
No, I love it. I'm really happy.
Yeah. How's your morning been so far?
It's been great. We didn't need an icebreaker. It was great hanging out and being in Color Studio. I love it here. So it's been a good morning.
It took us a few minutes to get things set, so I guess that was the icebreaker, right?
Yeah.
But Liz, well, I appreciate you hopping on and being part of this special project that I'm working on. Mm-hmm. The icebreaker question that I did have initially that I want to ask you, and we're starting this project off with an icebreaker for each of these 4 episodes. And the icebreaker for you today is, if you could have any superpower in the world today, what would it be and why?
That's a very good question. Sometimes I think about these things because, there's a lot of superpowers that I would like, but the one specifically for today would to be taking away hate, being able to take away hate in society, just having people love each other for who they are. I think right now we in a time where differences and cultures are kind of clashing, and especially in America, I think that my superpower, I would love to, change people's views on each other and give people the opportunity to actually just love people for who they are. Because I'm in that space where it's I feel like every day on social media, there's just all of this stuff going on, and I just want people to just being accepting. So to answer your question, my superpower would be able to take people's hate in their heart away. And I know it sounds cliche, but it's something that I dwell on quite a bit right now,
Yeah, that's deep. I mean, for me, if anyone does ask me this question, I usually say fly or whatever, so I don't got to take a plane or anywhere. But that's not cliche at all to me. I mean, that's powerful and that's real. In 2025, there is a lot of. And I think a lot of part of that is social media. I think social media really fuels, that confirmation bias. It really, your feed page, gives you what you want to see only and not the other side.
Exactly. So, yeah, that
I
would
like
be
that.
my superpower.
I like that. Wow. That's amazing. Well, Liz, to start off, if you want to just tell the audience a little bit about who you are, your journey here to the Pacific Northwest, and all that good jazz.
Yeah. So, like you said earlier on, I'm originally from South Africa, Joburg, Jersey. I moved here in 2012 to the United States, and I actually landed in California, Santa Barbara. I was there for 10 years, and that's where I started my podcasting journey, because moving from South Africa to America, it was like a huge culture shock for me, and I didn't feel like I could really talk to anybody. So podcasting was outlet for me to kind of express myself and tell people about my story and where I came from. So I started on SoundCloud, and my first podcast was Liz Biz, straight out of Africa. Yeah, and so I was.
Why didn't you keep the name?
I think I just grew and evolved, because once I started podcasting and telling my story on SoundCloud, I then met a lot of people in Santa Barbara that wanted to like be on my podcast. So I had to kind of pivot where it wasn't really about me anymore. So I pivoted and actually interviewed local business owners, and that's when I started my freelance agency with social media marketing and branding. So I did a lot of that, and then I incorporated my podcast into that. So people would sign up with me, and then I would interview them, give them a platform to talk about their business, and then I would help them with their marketing. And then fast forward, 2020 happened, and I was kind of going through a huge like identity crisis, if you want to say, because growing up in South Africa, I was adopted. My mom passed away in 2003. And so I got adopted into a white family. And even though I had my African roots and things like that and spoke my language and stuff, I still didn't like, I didn't see myself in my family, like my sister's my blood sister, but like my mom and dad don't look like me, right? And so moving here, I kind of was going through a little bit of a like, you know, I didn't feel like a part of the environment in Santa Barbara. And then 2020 happened, and then I was just like, oh my gosh, like Black people are not loved. Like we had to do, there was a lot of like inward searching for me, and like had very difficult conversations with my white parents, like trying to have them understand being a Black person in America, and they couldn't really understand it. And so that's when Live to Thrive podcast was born, and that's when I was like, this is my vision. I want to focus on people of color. I want to focus on minority groups where we have a support system, because there's not a lot of that. And so that's where I decided to do Live to Thrive. And then I met my husband, and we moved to Seattle in 2021. And then that's how I ended up here in a nutshell.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite a journey. I mean, how was it, I guess, growing up with, you know, your parents, and rest in peace to your mother. I'm so sorry for your loss. How was it growing up in a family that didn't look like you?
Very, very challenging at times, but also it made me realize that accepting of other people was like in my upbringing, right? So it was like, it wasn't, and I hate it when people say I don't see color, but growing up, I didn't really understand, you know, racism and things like that, because I was a Black child in a white home, and I never experienced that within my family. I mean, I experienced it in other areas of my life, but my mom taught us, you know, if someone says something, it has nothing to do with you, it has something to do with them. And so I kind of learned to, you know, brush things that people said to me off my shoulders. But then moving to the States by myself and being in a very, like Santa Barbara is a very white city. There's literally like not a lot of Black people there. So it was like kind of hard for me to like feel accepted. I kind of stuck out. And so, you know, it was a lot of like accepting of my upbringing, but then becoming an adult, I was like, no, I'm very different. I'm Black. I'm proudly Black. There's things that are happening in society that are against us. Yeah. And I want to be able to be a part of a community that uplifts people of color. You know, for me is Black community. That's who I'm really in that community and right now, and I'm loving it. I love my people. I think we are hilarious. I think we just,
We sure are.
Yeah,
We have great comedians too.
I just, so it's not like, I think it's just been, it was a weird upbringing, but also at the same time, it kind of shaped me into the person I am today,
Well, when you were saying that, I immediately thought back to the icebreaker and how you answered that.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming
Yeah.
that has to do a little bit about the taking the hate out of the world, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like what Nelson Mandela said is one of his famous sayings is, no one is born into this world with hate. Hate is taught. You're born into this life with love. And, I grew up in my traditional family. I got adopted and I was brought up with love. But then you go into the world and there's so much hate, and it's just like, where does this come from? Like, why are we teaching each other this, know? Because I feel like we'd have such a peaceful society if we didn't have that.
Oh, I'm with you, Liz. I'm with you. Yeah. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Tell us a little bit about the space we're in right now, Color Studio. How did you find colors?
Oh my gosh, it's such a funny story. I love Armando. Shout out to Armando.
Shout out to Armando. My guy.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers, actually. Cheers. Armando, it was so funny. I moved here in 2021 and I think he found me on Instagram or something, and he was like, I would love to have you in my studio to take some influencer reels for some clients that I have. And I was like, okay, sure. And I came here and he was like I think he was just like in this space alone. I don't know if I think it was just this space. And I came up here and we were doing a lot of branded content. And it was funny because then I kept on coming back with doing influencer reels, but we didn't really like know each other. It was kind of like he sent me, some casting things, and he was like, do you want to do this reel? Like, come, I'll shoot it. And then he would pay me and stuff like that. So he had that thing going on. And then I actually stopped doing influencing because I was like, I need to focus on my career. And fast forward to 23, he created colors, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the dude that I did influencer reels with. And I reached out to him and stuff, and he was like, oh yeah, come, this is Color Studio, whatever. We having a podcast studio, we having a photography studio, so like come and like see the studio. And I fell in love with colors, and I'm still here, and I think it's an amazing space that he's created. Yeah.
I became a member in October of last year.
Okay.
And I remember this space, the podcast studio. It was just before the podcast studio moved here. It was in the other space.
Yes, yeah.
And they had like a Halloween, like Goodwill was here. It was like not like a raffle, but like almost like a giveaway.
Yes,
like clothes and different,
yeah.
Michael Myers, all that stuff around here. So they were like, yeah, we're going to change this space. This is going to be the podcasting space.
Yeah.
And when they did it and I came in, I was like, man, this is nice.
I know. It's so nice. It's,
the brick wall, the paintings.
Yeah, it's so aesthetically pleasing. I love it. Yeah.
But colors is amazing. And I think the fact that it's in the heart of Pioneer Square too brings such a vibe and culture because it brings people like you and I, photographers, fashion stylists, everyone around.
Yeah.
That's really important.
Yeah.
The Live to Thrive podcast.
Yes.
I was taking a look at it. I didn't finish the episode yet, but your latest one with Kyla.
Yeah.
Kyla, and then you had two other people come on and interview her too.
Yeah.
Which kind of shocked her a bit.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit, what was the inspiration behind that? What was that journey like starting off?
Yeah, so shout out to The Meet. So The Meet is a organization here in Seattle where they do workshops and creative get-togethers with, Seattle or like I feel like this community, we have lots of get-togethers and creatives and
We do.
blah, and
Yeah.
you know what you want to call it. But so they asked me to do a podcast and to interview Kyla. So it was really much the Meets vision, but having two other guests on, that was kind of what I wanted to do, because I've never done anything like that. It's always been one-on-one when I'm interviewing people. And so because we were already in the collaborative space and people here were all creatives and they were listening into the podcast and wanted to know how podcasts are really made, we had kind of an audience. And while I was sitting here and interviewing Kyla, I was like, you know what, let's change it up a little bit, because I've never done anything like this before, and let's have two other people come on and experience how to interview people and just like, you know, be a part of, you know, the experience and getting to know her and ask her the questions that they may have had, because she had spoken before she came onto the podcast. So I thought it would be a good idea for people to ask her questions that they may have not asked her when she was downstairs presenting. So it was really cool to have two people from the audience come on and join the podcast, and it added a different kind of vibe and liveliness to it. And maybe it's something I do come like maybe once every now and then, but it was just a spontaneous thing.
And it turned out well.
It turned out well. Yeah.
Well, I was peeking through your link tree, and the little link you have for people that want to be on the podcast. I'm gonna fill that out.
Yes.
Now, am I gonna have two other people come on out of nowhere? Now I know I can prepare a little bit. You know.
You don't even have to fill it out. I've already got a spot for you.
Appreciate it. I'll be like, who's two people coming in right now? Oh my God. They got like a notebook of questions.
I know, like let me get these questions in real quick.
Well, Liz, I think you're doing a great thing with the podcast. And, specifically for this episode, the fact that it's focused on creatives here in Pioneer Square, how do you see the work that you're doing right now with the Live to Thrive podcast, with other things that you're doing? How is it adding to the culture here, to the vibe here at Pioneer Square? And why should people listen to the Live to Thrive podcast?
Oh, man. That's a deep question. I'll start with why should people listen to Live to Thrive podcast? You know, I think when I think of Live to Thrive podcast, it's about, you know, even though it's centered around people of color, I feel like it's for everyone to listen to, just because of just hearing people's stories and how they've overcome hardships in their life, and how they give like tips and tricks on their mental health and their journey. With that being said, you know, I feel like Live to Thrive adds to the culture of Pioneer Square, because I wanted to create a community through Live to Thrive, right? And so I want to uplift voices that are making a difference. And Pioneer Square is such a little gem within Seattle, and there's so much culture here that needs to be highlighted, elevated for people to see it and be a part of it. And so with Live to Thrive podcast, I am hoping to not just elevate people of color, but also elevate businesses that are owned by people of color in Pioneer Square, because of so much culture that's going on here. And I feel like, I mean, if you want to listen to it, listen to it. If you don't. But
you should
it's
listen
out
to
there.
it. You should listen to it. It's a great listen.
But that's what I see for it. Did I answer all your questions?
You did,
because that was a deep one. There was like two parts there.
Well, it was deep, and then you made it. You made it sound easy. You know, so you answered it pretty nicely. Are there any for someone listening to this and saying, okay, she's mentioning black businesses or just local businesses in general too here around here? Do you have any favorite spots in Pioneer Square? Any businesses that stand out to you that you would like to collab with in the future?
Oh my gosh.
You could state the whole list. That's okay.
I know there is a couple, but there is a gallery. What's the gallery?
You're talking about the art gallery?
The art gallery that's owned by a black woman.
Oh.
It's just down the road here. I forgot.
I'll add a caption of the name.
Okay,
Once I'm editing this.
Yeah, I would like to collaborate with colors, which I do all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely trying to force Armando to be on my podcast, but he is a busy man. I would love you to be on my podcast, elevate that.
Yeah.
What other businesses? I love Asian food, so I have like some like Asian restaurants here, but I don't know if they would want to talk about their businesses. And then there's also a beautiful coffee shop. Guys, I'm not good with names, so don't judge me, but I will send you a list of businesses that I would love to interview. I just don't remember their names, because there's this coffee shop that is owned by a black guy, and he has beautiful
I think I know who you're talking about.
art on the wall.
Bun Bunna?
I think so. Yes.
By Ephraim?
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's so much. I can't even.
There are a ton. A ton. We'll add a list in the description, and I'll put some captions down below at this point. But and speaking of Boon Bunna too, I think he's another person I want to get in touch with and potentially collab with them, because that's for me too. Boon Bunna is a business I want to get in touch with. So yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I like that. We're gonna. I know we've gotten a little bit deep in the podcast, but we're gonna get even deeper.
Oh, deeper.
We're gonna get even deeper. I was scrolling through your Instagram, doing some research, checking out who you are and the work you do. So last year, you traveled to Chicago to give some stem cells to a woman who had leukemia.
Yes.
Now, when I first saw that, and you kind of explaining in that reel the journey, you took your husband along the way, he made it easy for you.
Yeah.
Take us through kind of the headspace you were in, how that whole journey began, and what that was like for you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's so crazy to actually think about, because when I told you I was in marketing. Well, I am in marketing, and I worked for an agency who worked with Seattle Children's, and that was one of my accounts, and I was touched by a lot of stories from Seattle Children's Hospital, and also knowing, like, for example, sickle cell anemia targets black families. Like, sickle cell is like a black disease, and so like things like that, like these knowing about all of these diseases and stuff like that, I got really interested in making a change in some way. I don't know what that way was, but when I got a note in the mail, it was like asking to donate stem cells, and you have to like do some tests, like just draw your blood and then send it off to a lab, and then you'll be a part of a database, and then if it comes back positive, then you can help a family that are in need, right? And so this was like in 2021 when I did this, and my husband was like, oh, it's very, very rare for you to be a match. And I was like, okay. Carried on with my life, and fast forward to last year, I got an email saying that I was a match, and I was a match to a woman with leukemia, and she's 36 years old, and she has kids, and she's really sick, and she needs a donation. And when I got that, I kind of, being fully transparent, I got kind of nervous, because I was like, I don't know what this entails. Like, am I going to be going into surgery? Like, I don't know what this donation process is going to be. And I took kind of a long time to make a decision if I was going to donate. But at the end of the day, I told myself, like, I wanted to make a change, and I wanted to help in some sort of way. So this was God's way of telling me, like, this is the way that you are you can help a family. Long story short, I got all my test results. I got cleared. And then it was like, oh, you have to take this medicine that makes you feel kind of sick and like like your bones hurt, because the new way of taking stem cells is like they have I don't know what the medicine's called, but it helps your body generate stem cells from your bones. And so it like just feels like you just like,
Right.
like someone's like not crushing you. You just like sore everywhere. And when I took a couple of those doses, I was like, am I really doing this? I don't know. I'm doing this. Is horrible. Like, even though I know I'm helping someone, like I just am like not feeling good. But I had to kind of remind myself what I was doing, and I was helping someone.
Yeah.
And then it was time to go to Chicago because they don't have the way that they had to take the stem cells out of my body. They didn't have it here in Seattle, so they flew us out to Chicago, and they kind of, it wasn't like a scary experience because you just in a very, very comfortable bed all day. And they then draw your blood and it goes through a machine, and then it took about 8 hours. And my husband was there with me, which was great. But it was a very interesting experience, especially mentally, to kind of separate you helping someone and then also separate like what you kind of doing to your body, because afterwards you have to go through more tests and stuff to make sure that like you recovering correctly and stuff like that. So it's like it's not you putting yourself at risk, but like you're putting your body in an uncomfortable situation.
Certainly.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I'm very proud of it. I think that more people should do that and help families in different ways. Yeah.
And when you did it, after you got the call, 3 years later, there was no regret that you made that decision in 2021.
No, there was no regret at all. No.
Did you ever like get a call from the lady? Did you guys ever have a conversation?
That part is kind of sad because so they tell you right at the beginning that, you know, the person that you help, because it stays anonymous on their end, right? And they give you the option to like say, hey, I would love to meet you after I do the donation. If they say yes, of course. If they want to meet you, they can meet you. And I mean, that lady is going through something. I don't know what she's going through, right? She's fighting for her life. So her not wanting to meet her donor, that is totally fine. I was just a little bit bummed because I would have loved to like get to know her or send her a note and stuff like that. But they give you very high level information of like their age, what's going on, how like their, you know, diagnoses, and then they give them the option to reach out to you if they want to. I haven't gotten anything back, but as long as I did my part and I helped in some sort of way, you know, that's what makes me happy, you know.
That's beautiful, Liz. Wow, that's man. Oh man, I need a drink of this water.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I hope she's doing okay.
I also hope she's doing okay. I should email, because I did it through NMDP and be the match, and I should actually reach out and see how she's doing, if she's okay.
You should.
Yeah, I should email. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, on a lighter note.
Yes.
Liz, you got a lot going on.
Yeah.
What is next for Liz currently in 2025?
Oh my goodness. I have so many goals. I'm very goal orientated. I am in an agency right now. I'm a digital strategist, so a lot of my work is on our phones and podcasting and all of this stuff. I think my biggest goal this year, honestly, is I want to focus on my agency. I want to, focus on having my own business, I think that I'm not made to work for other people.
I'm not either.
I know. I feel like I want to focus on the agency. I want Live to Thrive to grow. I really want to be focused on the podcast. It is so hard podcasting. I think people are like, oh, you just sit and interview people, but you have to.
It's much more than that.
It's so much more. You have to vet them, and then you sit with them and you talk with them, edit, produce, create content around it. It's a lot.
Be consistent and all that. 100%. Quality content it is. And I feel like, podcasting space is really starting to fill up and be a little bit saturated, but which makes it more challenging, but also more rewarding when you are able to step out and stand out.
Yeah. Yeah. So I totally agree with you. And so I want to definitely, focus on Live to Thrive. And also I want to just be more a part of, like, not more a part of, but I want to get into like a lot more communities within Seattle. I think we have, Pioneer Square, but I want to like kind of dig deep into, people. Like, there's so many great people that are in colors already. Like, I don't know all the members. Like, I would love to get to know more people here and grow that way, because I think Seattle has something so special that no other city has. Like, we have such a close-knit community, and we're always looking to uplift each other, and that's what I love about it. And so one of my 2025 goals is to be more a part of people's, stories and growth and things like that. Those are pretty much my goals.
I like it. Well, Liz, we are at the deep end of the podcast. And for anyone who's still listening, watching, they're about to get my favorite question.
Okay.
That I always like to ask my guests.
Yeah. Amidst
everything that you do through podcasting, through, giving stem cells and being so, a donator, for upcoming local creatives, upcoming podcasters, people of color, Black creatives, what advice would you give to that younger generation that is seeking to embark on their own path and their own journey?
Love it. First of all, love that question. I think, honestly, just start. That's the first step. No matter where you are at in life, is just start. So if you are looking to be a podcaster, or you're a creative, a photographer, whatever whatever creative outlet you want to do, is just start. But before, starting is doing your research, right? Figuring out which avenue you want to do, especially with podcasting. Like you said, it's very saturated. And so figuring out what you want to talk about, who you want to talk to, who your target audience is, and really focusing and honing into that, because I think sometimes, you can kind of miss the mark. So know exactly who your target audience is, and talk to that audience and grow that audience. And then also getting mentors. So that's a big thing, is like, if you are wanting to go into specific creative avenues, join a place like Colors. Find that mentor. Find that person who's done more podcasts than you, like you starting out. Sit with them while they're podcasting. Pick their brain, and same with photographers. If you want to start and do photography, find photographers that you want to work with. Go out and work with them. And Kyla said this in my podcast a while ago, is that sometimes you always have to just start for free. Like, not everything is paid. If it's a passion project, just start it, because at the end of the day, if it's good enough, you'll be recognized. You'll be, you'd be given those opportunities. You just start for yourself, I think, is a big thing. Don't start because you want to be Instagram famous or you know what I mean. But
Viral moment.
yeah, viral moment. Start because it's something that you truly care about, that you truly want to grow because it's your passion, and then find those people around you to grow your passion, help you grow your passion, I think is what I would give advice about.
Beautifully said again, man. Liz, thank you for joining us. Where can people connect with you? Where people can connect with you on social media, find your podcast, even potentially have maybe future guests are listening to this?
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram and YouTube. So on Instagram, it's Live to Thrive Pod. And then on YouTube, it's Live to Thrive Podcast. And then if you're on LinkedIn and want to connect with me, I don't have a Live to Thrive LinkedIn, but my name is Lizzy Hudson. And then also if you want to follow my personal Instagram is Liz Hud, LIZZ_HUD. Yeah.
Y'all heard her. Tap in, connect with her, support what Liz is doing with the Live to Thrive podcast. And Liz, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun. I've never been on this side, so I appreciate you so much for having me.
I'm sure you'll get used to it because a lot more people will have you on their podcast, after this, hopefully. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed episode 2 of this project that I'm undergoing and took away some wisdom. Again, go support Liz and what she's doing. Follow her on Spotify and all the other platforms that her podcast is on. And I hope everyone has a beautiful rest of their day, night, whatever it is. Till next time, y'all. Peace. What is up, y'all? Thank you so much for tuning in to that episode. Make sure to click the subscribe, follow button, as well as the bell to get notified on all my new content that is coming out every Wednesday and every other day. And make sure to click that link in the description down below to get access to all my socials and any other platforms that I have my podcast on. And until next time, y'all, peace.